Hey Honest community, before we dive into this episode, we've got a quick free favour to ask. If you enjoyed the Honest Property podcast, please hit like, follow and subscribe wherever you're listening from. It helps us grow, reach more people and bring on guests that you want to hear from. Thanks for being a part of this. We appreciate you more than you know.
Hello and welcome to the Honest Property podcast with your hosts Becky and Ruth, and we like to talk about all things holistic entrepreneurship, business and living in alignment.
Yeah,
And
building
staying
wealth,
good at
building wealth in alignment with the life you want to live.
And so today we're going to talk about I think something that something that doesn't get talked about enough, which is about having multiple passports, which gives you freedom, identity and security in a changing world. So Becky and I, as everyone knows, we're mixed race. We're English Filipino, and we're dual citizens. We have 2 passports. My son also has a passport, and this was a priority because we saw it as like, if you have the opportunity to be able to get another one, kind of why wouldn't you?
Yeah. We insure our cars, you insure your homes, you insure your property investments, you even insure your phone. Some people do, not everyone does. But what about your life? A second passport is besides having other opportunities, it is also a valuable insurance policy. That is often really overlooked. And I think as Ruth and I have been reconnecting with our friends, many of whom are also mixed race, I have been banging on about they need to get their other passport. You need to get your passport.
But also quite common that I've heard is when we've said that, they go, oh, why? It's not a very, we have this passport because it's not a strong passport. Like, what's the point? Why don't you just have the one? Nuh-uh. Why do we not rely on the one?
Why if you can have it and it's your right to have it, go get your second passport, because the world is changing fast. Politics, wars, visa restrictions. Like the UK passport, I don't think it's the top passport anymore. I feel like it's the Spanish one. And that's because of Brexit. We're no longer in the EU. We don't have the same it doesn't hold the same power anymore. Whereas in Southeast Asia, for example, in emerging markets like Thailand, Philippines, Indonesia, only people who hold a passport can buy property, can buy land. And so many people are scrambling at the opportunity to diversify their investments with different opportunities that are abroad. But there's obviously a limit. But if you have the capacity, if you've got the right to diversify your investments easily as well, just because you hold a passport, then you absolutely should get your passport. And this isn't just a topic that is for billionaires, multimillionaires, or conspiracy theorists, but it is a very real wealth and lifestyle tool that is often overlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a massive mission of ours and part of our plan for relocating. So Ruth is much more an expat. She has a visa right to live in Malaysia, where she is right now. Whereas for myself, I don't have a fixed place contract that I don't have a working visa or anything like that. So I'll, with my British passport, as I move around with my husband, sounds weird to say that's like we got married. We can only be in, there's only so many months you can be in a certain place, but we can always go back to the Philippines because I have a Filipino passport and I can stay there with him. I think he can stay for a year, something like that. Don't quote me on this, but for a much longer period of time than usually like the 1 month, 3 month restriction that you would get elsewhere. So it gives us flexibility of movement as well.
I think there's a lot of I will say it and say a lot of brainwash into thinking like only like a certain passport is like better than another passport, but you just don't know what's gonna happen around the corner. And if you are dual, you were born with the privilege of being mixed race, and I'm so what why would you not take the opportunity to see what opportunities you are out there for you to be able to see if you have, there could an exit plan, or if there was like rising nationalism in one of the countries, you can move to another. Yeah, what would you call it? Geopolitical instability that allows you to then shift your home to somewhere else where you feel safer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So the UK, I don't know. I just think you don't put your like with investing, just like your security. Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And don't just rely on the one country where you do all your investing. That's risky. You don't
Yeah, it's
say like all types of investment. You need to diversify. You don't just really spread your risk, and that's the same with spread your risk in if you can in multiple countries. Don't rely on one government.
yeah, because the UK has changed a lot. It's changed a lot, and other nations are also going to change in the future and potentially have opportunities that you couldn't even imagine. And it costs like so much less just to make sure you've got your passport than trying to have to figure it out later when maybe that ship has sailed. Maybe it's going to be difficult to access. Um, yeah, just think about opening doors for your family. So Ruth has a son, and because she's Filipina and has a Philippine passport, her son, um, even though he is quarter Filipino, is fully entitled to the same rights, and that can in the future when he's I don't know
Oh,
like a fully fledged adult. Who knows what the world's going to look like then? And that could have been an opportunity missed. Um, Especially as I think, like, obviously we talk a lot about property, but in emerging markets like in Southeast Asia, where there's a lot more interest is gained, that could look totally different. That could be a missed opportunity if
that can open doors for him.
Hey guys, if you're new to property investing, we know exactly how hard it is to figure out where to start. That's why we created the Beginner's Roadmap. It's your guide to mastering the fundamentals so that you can move forward with clarity and confidence. Just hit the link in the show notes. Now, let's jump back into this episode.
yeah. So besides the practical freedom, you get your travel, your visas, your certain work rights that you have. You've got your family continuity, passing that citizenship on to your children. Peace of mind, knowing that you've always got a plan B if things were gonna go wrong in one place. Um, yeah, and then obviously the property ownership rights. Like, there's just so many reasons to take the effort to get that little booklet, to get that passport.
Especially with an entrepreneur, I would say from an entrepreneur perspective, if you decide to work abroad or digitally, or wherever you decide to pay your tax, there might be tax opportunities in different countries to where you were born.
Yeah. I think as well as if you are entrepreneurial minded, because this is what this podcast is about, modern entrepreneurship and financial literacy and investing, you already know no one's going to save you. You're here to look out for yourself. Because if you're smart, you're not naive to think that one government is going to save you. They're not. But if you spread it,
You can either complain or do something about it, and do your research, do your due diligence, and see where we say it all the time, like where are you going to be treated best, where are you going to thrive, and like be able to build up a community that wants you.
yeah, or just a more be in societies that are more favorable of entrepreneurial mindsets. Maybe they aren't where you're from or where you grew up.
In the UK.
Not so much, but there are other places that
By the way, it's not saying anything, I love my British heritage too, but as an entrepreneur and investor, I don't, and Becky, I think would agree that that ship is like sailed of feeling like we're wanted in like country, and there's not as much help there's a reason why. Maybe it's just the news just saying like everyone is leaving, but yeah, everyone is leaving because there is just they don't look after business people.
no.
There are other countries that actually want entrepreneurs to be there. I mean, that's why actually a lot of people are moving to like America.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of who want to start businesses, they welcome Pete entrepreneurs into America.
Yeah, it's far more entrepreneurial there, I think. It's normal to be a founder. Whereas here it's kind of like you still feel a bit like an anomaly. That's how I feel right now.
And they trust like the big institutions and the factories more than like the little people, the little entrepreneurs.
And I'm gonna go out on a bit of a bold statement right now, but I feel like here, if you are like lower class, I don't like saying class, lower income, then the government gives you enough to stay reliant, and to survive. Just quality questionable of that support. And then if you are super wealthy, the the tax issues aren't really going to touch your lifestyle or touch your future. But if you're anywhere in the middle and you're trying to build something, those people are getting so squeezed. So squeezed you don't really have a chance to progress because the support isn't there for you to do so because you're just being taxed at every angle, and the mindset just also isn't there. That's why so many people that are in that category have just shifted to different environments and where different opportunities might be. That's what I reckon why there's such a big move. And I do want to touch on how getting your passport is such a perk, for all the reasons we've already discussed, but because actually I want to talk about the process of getting it. I don't know, I want to talk about it's a perk because if you were to have the same sorts of rights in other countries, usually that is not it doesn't come cheap. It usually comes with an investment scheme, which can cost you hundreds of thousands or millions of pounds. So there's schemes around the world where if you buy or you invest into a company or something or property that is in that country, then you get like investor visa. But that's so expensive. It's like at least like maybe £100,000, depending on the country. I don't know what the rules are for every single country, but it's just to apply for a passport if you have access or the privilege to do so. That's not gonna that is the price. The bureaucracy. Okay, the bureaucracy, the paperwork, the time it takes, legal hoops. That not easy. I also want to add that when Ruth and I were trying to get our I was saying that you and I had to go to and fro from the Philippine embassy in London. Like,
Yeah.
I'm
Pregnant.
Ruth stormed in. She was like, she had pregnancy rage. Because I think even though it's in London, the process.
But I was tired and I was on my feet and it was hot. It was summer, wasn't it? And I was like, I need to sit down. We hadn't eaten as well. And I was like, really pregnant.
Yeah. Government websites are just not clear. They don't make it very transparent what's needed from you. So we had to run to the post office nearby and pay to photocopy some documents and run back a few times because it was missing. It was a lot of faff, but got there in the end, and it is worth the faff. I gotta say, it is worth the faff. Um, and also there's a bit of identity tension here. I mean, that's just like a mixed race thing, I think. If you like, if you have more than one passport, especially, where do I really belong? You know, when there's that age-old question when people are like, "Oh, where do you come from?" For you especially, Yanni is a third culture kid technically because he is not being raised anymore in the UK. He's not in the Philippines. He's actually being raised in a totally different country to where both his parents are from.
Before we continue, here's a quick thought. Ever feel like there's just never enough time to focus on what really matters in your business? You don't have to do it all alone. As they say, a great team makes everything easier. That's why we've partnered with the Freedom Geek. Their talented Filipino VAs help us with tasks like admin and podcast editing, just like for this episode, giving us the freedom to focus on what really moves the needle. If you're looking to reclaim your time and to work smarter, then check out the Freedom Geek. All the details are in the show notes. Now let's get back to our conversation.
So there's like an identity complexity there, but I mean, those are the cons to consider, but it's so worth it. So I think to people who have easier access to this that are multiple heritages, you can please take a moment to check. Maybe you're English, okay, but maybe your grandparents are Irish. Yeah, that is a European friendly passport right there. And that you can access that passport if your grandparents are Irish, not necessarily your parents. So look at your heritage and double check. It is so much easier and cheaper than going through an investor scheme. It anchors you to more than one system.
Are you not relying on a single government?
No, you're not relying on one government because the governments change every now. Like whoever leads changes every 3 years. Like you really want to put your hands in somebody you don't know, your life into the hands of somebody you don't know. You can literally leverage who you already are into having more resilience. Yeah.
So how often do you have to replace a passport? It's usually 5-7 years,
Yeah.
10 years sometimes, depending on the country. So see it as an insurance policy. It's an upfront cost, but it gives you option. And that is long-term security.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like property.
Yeah. Personally, we are looking into what opportunities that are around us now in Southeast Asia.
I mean, we always say how, time and location freedom is a big thing for us. And so to be able to move freely, to have mobility around the globe is quite currency over money.
Yeah. Like Ruth's son goes to a school that would have typically cost quite the penny in the UK for the same quality of education, if not better. And that much more exposure to different cultures.
Yeah.
You just get so much more. And if we didn't think globally, then that's again another opportunity missed. I don't know how
That's healthcare. The NHS is already overstretched. I know it's a bit of a difficult subject to talk about, but I feel like the UK always talks about how the NHS is dying or barely surviving. Whereas when you go to other countries and maybe you pay like privately, but you get a better healthcare because the staff aren't stretched and exhausted and tired and not supported.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people can relate with the NHS wait times and just the process to get seen.
Or feel personal from that. I talk on behalf of my husband, but even like I've heard through the grapevine, there are so many teachers that are leaving the UK as well because they also feel like they're not looked after by the government. Their wages haven't increased. You get better benefits, a better lifestyle elsewhere than in the UK.
Because you're valued.
You're valued. You're not having to deal with behavioral issues. So yeah, education and healthcare can be better in other countries if you look.
Yeah.
Instead of a country that maybe, those things are free, then they get taken for granted. I may have covered this already in the last podcast, but surely there's truth in it. Like when things are free, like I know we pay national insurance, but when people see that it's like free, sometimes it's not valued anymore.
No. And also, I think just because the world is becoming more digital, mobility is just so much more valuable nowadays and will continue to be more valuable. It's an appreciating asset if you see it in investment terms. This is something that a lot of people recognize as a huge advantage to be able to be flexible. And we don't want to be all doom and gloom, and we definitely don't want to be those people who are like, oh, the UK sucks, because there's just too much media about that, and it doesn't suck. We love the UK.
I love the UK.
But it's about being intentional and not just thinking, this one place is gonna be my security forever. This one government is gonna make sure I have a great entirety of life. It's resilience planning for if anything goes wrong. And if you have access to it, please don't sleep on it. This is a huge advantage that you've got just by being yourself. So if the rules, just some food for thought to wrap up this episode. If the rules changed tomorrow in your home country, what options would you have? Are you missing out on some options that you've got available to you now?
Look into your ancestry. Go on Ancestry DNA. Who are you related to?
You paste the results on like ChatGPT and have just a surface level look. I think there's like a deep research function now on ChatGPT, but just be like, okay, this is my ancestry. Am I able to get citizenship, passport rights to anything? And how do I?
One of your passports might open up another passport by just having that passport.
Literally.
Well.
So I know this about Philippine passport. Because of colonialism, Spain conquered the Philippines for like 333 years. Because of that, Filipinos can live in Spain. Okay, please double check these details just in case they've changed.
Yeah.
But from like, especially from the point of hearing this, but from the latest of what I've read and understand is if you hold a Filipino passport, you can live in Spain for a couple of years. And then I think you do have to do a language test and a history test, but basically the traditional like citizenship route is 10 years, but for Filipinos it's 2. And I think for certain Latin American countries as well, it's 2 because of that history, which means that you can unlock a European passport much faster than somebody else. So that is also some food for thought. But
You
I
never know what doors can open with your passport. You just need to stay
yeah, yeah,
open-minded.
stay open-minded and just see what can unlock for you. Yeah, I think this was something we've always wanted to get out there and a topic that isn't discussed enough. Let us know in DMs if actually on Instagram at Honest Property Sisters, if any revelations from this have come up for you, like what countries and opportunities could be unlocking for you just because you took the time to look into your passport options. Yeah, thank you again for listening or watching, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.